What's going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building on this good Sunday, fun day. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in to another live discussion. Okay, today we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We're going to go down the rabbit hole about what's going on with the ladies down in Aspen. We got the tea on what exactly Lisa Barlow allegedly said on actually for this night's episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City about Meredith. We got the transcript, so we're going to read the transcript, okay? We got some tea coming from Tamara Tattles about Drew Sidora on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And of course, we're going to do a slight mini recap for the Janet Jackson documentary part 2 with a little bit of extra news, sprinkled in between, okay? Now, if you guys are watching this, thank you guys again so much. Let us know where you're watching from down in the chat, okay? I see we got a wintry Sunday from Nakia, okay? Who else? We got New Haven in the building, Charlotte, South Carolina, okay? Bowie, Maryland. Hey. Yes, baby, that transcript. Woo! Let me tell you something. After reading that transcript, it will be over for me, okay? The friendship will be over for me, all right? And we're going to get into that first. We got Louisville, Chicago, Columbia, South Carolina, St. Thomas, baby, UK. Dallas is back in the building. We see you. Come on, San Diego. Erie, Pennsylvania. Rwanda's in the building. I see you, baby. Jacksonville, Jersey, Indiana. Hey, y'all. Southern California in the building. El Paso, Texas, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, Kingston, Jamaica, baby. St. Louis, Youngstown, Ohio, Toronto, where it's cold, baby. It's cold here, too. Y'all know what's funny? It's so cold here, and I don't even own a pair of gloves. This is what happens to you when you come from Miami. You move from Miami, and you forget, like, the staples that you need to get through the winter. I ain't got no gloves, no mittens. I don't have a scraper for my car. I just got some ice pellets for, to put outside to melt the ice and stuff like that. Don't get me going down this rabbit hole because I'll go right down it today. Let's go ahead and dive right into the tea, okay? Because y'all know brunch is waiting for me. It's calling my name, so I got to get through this, all right? And I ain't really had no breakfast either. Woo! All right, so let's get started. So I want to pull this up from my girl, CC Loves You from Instagram. Now, she happened to be able to pull up the transcript, and what I love is that she kind of, shortened up those curse words up in there. Now, just a trigger warning for you guys. This is real bad. Salt Lake City is going to be bad tonight. So just in case anybody in this room does not want to know what is going to go down on Salt Lake City tonight, I am giving you a spoiler warning right now. Get out the room for like 5 minutes, okay? 5-10 minutes. Get out the room, okay? Just go ahead and do yourself a favor if you don't want no spoilers. But for the rest of y'all that do, let's get into it. Baby, this is not good. So we saw the clip last week, and we didn't do a recap for the show last week, but, because I was still on the fence. But now that we'd have made a little bit of progress by, giving that good Jenny Wynn her walking papers, my girl Cece got this from the Reddit. She got confirmed by somebody close to the cast that this was allegedly definitely said. All right. So this is allegedly what Lisa said about her good Judy, Meredith. So this is from the hot mic, allegedly. Again, we say allegedly. Meredith can go F herself. I'm done with her because I'm not an effing HOE and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and her dumb effing family that poses. Let's get into that real quick for a second, because if you're saying the family poses, that to me would seem to be an indication that you feel like her family is fake and phony, okay? So you ain't just talking about her. You talking about her family too, okay? You talking about her family. And you know that is not going to fly with Miss Meredith Marks, who has been screaming and stomping through this entire season, okay? It wouldn't fly with me either, to be quite honest with you. But let's continue on because it gets worse. Lisa then allegedly said, "Why don't you own a house?" "Oh, wait, you can't because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes." Now, see, I told y'all this was gonna get kind of crazy. Okay. When you talk about shots fired, okay. But let's read on because it gets worse. "Meredith is a piece of effing shit. I had your back, and I'm offended by that. F you. That effing piece of ish garbage hoe. I effing hate her. She's a hoe. She effed half of New York. She can go F herself." These are fighting words, okay? These are fighting words, baby. Fighting words. Now, I don't know. I gotta sneeze, y'all. Hold on. It's coming. It's coming. I'm holding it back. Okay, back at it. Now, this will be the end of my friendship forever. Henceforth and forevermore. It's one thing for you to be mad at me and for you to be like, F you, I'm over you, you know, this, that, and the third. But when you start bringing my family into it, talking about my family is full of posers, we can't own a house because the husband is changing jobs every 5 minutes. I didn't F half of New York. No, baby. No, that friendship is over. If this was all that was said, friendship done, okay? Done. And I mean done. Like, I mean, stick a fork in me. I is done with you for life. I don't care if we do gotta interact with each other on the cast. Guess who I won't be speaking to? You. All right? It's a wrap. That's a wrap, lettuce and tomato. See, Logan, you hit the nail on the head with that one. Okay, this is about to be something crazy. Bruce says, "Me literally mouth dropped. I didn't know Lisa knew how to cuss like this. These bras be on some real ish." Bruce, I'm done. Okay, I am done. So we about to see this whole situation play out on tonight's episode. We'll just have to wait and see what all they show. But allegedly, that's the full transcript. Okay. I'm going to be watching because this is about to be some chaos up in here. And we're going to review it tomorrow. Side note, we're going to be reviewing this tomorrow at 11 a.m. I think 11 a.m. because the interview with Tiffany from Ladies Who List is going to be at 1. So I need a little bit of downtime in betwixt. Okay. And I might have a little special guest doing the recap with me because Adam got some things going on, got some business to handle. So I might have a little special guest. Now, y'all ready to move on to Beverly Hills? Let me tell y'all what's going on because it's a lot of tea that's spilling out of Beverly Hills. A lot of tea. A lot of tea. Okay? Let's get into it. Shout out to our new friend to the show, No Filter with Zach. Zach, I actually only met recently. I've heard of him, but I only met him recently when I did Up and Adam's 100,000 subscriber celebration the other week. We hit it off. And so I will be doing his podcast in a couple of weeks. But we got a little bit of tea coming out of Beverly Hills with regards to what's going on with Miss Erika Jayne. Now, I know the news has been all over the place with Erika Jayne news that the lawsuit, one of the lawsuits had been dismissed in Illinois, but only so that it could be refiled in California. Now, with all of this going on, sources are saying that this is taking a huge toll on Erika Jane. And the allegations are that she is doing a little bit of drinking. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of drinking. I would be drinking too, okay? Let me tell y'all something. If I was in this situation, I don't know how I'd be making it through. Y'all might see me up on this channel wasted every time you saw me, okay? Every single time I was on the camera, you might see me wasted. I don't know. Just letting you know what I would do, because that seemed like, it's worth a shot or two. Anyway, so let me give you the tea that Zach has listed here, all right? And you guys follow him on Instagram. So the ladies are in Aspen, and remember we had told you that there was some issues going on betwixt Garcelle and Erika, because Garcelle had unfollowed her. We went through the whole follow situation the other day. So he says that things are tense in Aspen. Sutton and Erika have been at odds, and they had a blowout fight before the cast left for the Aspen trip. Is it any shock to me that Sutton is back at it with Erika? Not really, because if Sutton remains true to form, then she's probably going to be one of the only ladies that really steps up to the plate like she did last year. But hopefully, Garcelle has had her back. But and this whole unfollow situation seems to be an indication that that is the case. Now, apparently, another argument happened last night where some concerns came up about Erika mixing alcohol and antidepressants, as well as talk about these $750,000 earrings being pulled into question from the Girardi Keese trustee. So that's what's going on with that lawsuit. Also, get this, allegedly somebody is questioning the validity of Dorit's home robbery. Now, I know I had seen a lot of people questioning the timing of the robbery. My hope is that that is not the case, because that's not something that you don't want to play around with stuff like that. So for me, my hope is that that would not be what's happening here, okay? And I see a lot of y'all commenting on Lisa Rinna right here. A lot of people were upset about this photo because a lot of people felt like it was some blackfishing going on. I don't know what to say about it. All I know is I know that the people likes to tan. And that's all I can say about it. All right? That's all I can say about it. Moving on. Okay. So there was a major fight. Lisa and Erika were alleged to be at odds, and we're going to get into that in a second, but they're not, okay, according to Zach. And then there were some rumors that Erika and Dorit had left after a big altercation with the rest of the ladies. Photos have surfaced indicating that Erika and Dorit were indeed still in Aspen while the rest of the ladies were still filming together. Now, what you see right here is Zach saying, from what I've heard, Erika and Rinna are not at odds, but it sounds like Erika is not doing well with the stress of everything that's going on. So here you guys can see photos that Zach has done a good job of, gathering of the ladies at dinner, out skiing. And here's this photo at the bottom that Garcelle had posted of the sort of the new guard, I would say, for Beverly Hills. You got Garcelle, Cherie, Dorit, then you have Sutton, Crystal, and Diana. And in the background, I think, is Mauricio behind Diana, because for some reason he was on the trip. So this was probably an agency type deal. You have Lisa Rinna in front of Mauricio, and then you have Kyle beside Mauricio, I think, because I can't see it. And then you have Erika Jane in the back looking like she ain't about to pose for no photo. So here is a thread of tweets from someone who allegedly was there in Aspen that tweeted about the whole thing. They say, so I walked into my favorite coffee shop in Aspen today, and the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills were filming. Some ish clearly went down last night. Kyle, Renna, Kathy, Sutton, Garcelle, and Crystal were filming. No word on Cherie. So the person then says, another person says, no, the person then said this. After a blowout fight last night, Erika, Dorit, and Diana left the house and haven't been in contact with the other ladies. Apparently, Erika has been drinking a lot lately, again, allegedly, and the other women are concerned, and Renna used the word intervention, but not in the rehab sense. So maybe there was just some concern that the girl is, kind of been, just going through more than she typically would. So then apparently they say Renna seems to be in a good place with Garcelle and Sutton. Sounded like Renna has gotten to a point where she can no longer defend Erika. Talk of Erika being in a really bad place and triggered by anyone referring to victims. All right. Because, she don't want to talk about them victims, right? It sounded like Erika lashed out hard at most of the women last night, especially Sutton, with name calling. Other ladies said it got ugly and weren't defending her. Talk of Erika refusing to give up earrings and pissed at the insinuation that she should. Diana and Erika apparently hit it off. Diana is allegedly latching on to her, and Dorit feels bad for Erika and trying to help her out. Really seemed like there was the beginning of a rift between Erika and Renna, although Renna sounded genuinely concerned for her. None of the women present knew how to deal with Erika moving forward, and that is what most of the conversation consisted of. And then you have a quote from Queens of Bravo, and it says, per my source, Erika and Diana and Dorit, after an intense talk while shopping, they don't want to see the others, and Erika has zero interest in any of them. They are still very much in Aspen. So there is the complete tea, okay, about what is going down on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on this final cast trip of the season. What I find very interesting and what I'm really excited about is the fact that both Real Housewives of Atlanta and Beverly Hills are both finishing up their cast trips and finishing up their seasons, which could mean that these two shows may run simultaneously, meaning different nights of the week, obviously, but they could be on at the same time. Lately, Beverly Hills has been a late spring summer show, and then, as we know, Real Housewives of Atlanta is running late this year with filming because of everything that was going on with casting. Okay, so there's a lot that we have going on, and Emma Walker, I definitely think that they're going to have their foot on the neck this season. Okay, Leandra, I wish I was in Aspen right now as well. So again, guys, follow Zach, No Filter with Zach, on Instagram, and watch and listen to his podcast as well. Okay, y'all know over here we're going to support any and everybody in this space. Why? Because it just feels good, number one. Number two, we always want to, recognize the people that are doing the work. And number three, it's just another outlet for you guys to get information when you want it. And then we can come back here and discuss everything that is going down. All right. Boom. So now, speaking of the Atlanta, since we was talking about it, let's get into Drew Sidora. Now, this is coming from an exclusive from Tamara Tattles, okay? Tamara Tattles has an inside source with the network and will occasionally get some tea. Follow Tamara Tattles on tamaratattles.com and on Instagram as well, okay? So here we go with this situation with Drew, and I'm gonna give you a look. We're gonna talk about it, and then we're gonna talk about it, okay? So apparently she's doing the most this season. Drew, like last season, especially the end of last season, is allegedly wilding out, okay? And apparently she's doing what the people in the network want her to do. So, and that means stirring the pot, okay? Apparently they're loving her this year. She's getting really loud and in your face when she's arguing with the folks. But here's the thing. The people in the network seem to love it, allegedly. But the producers who are, filming this on a day-to-day basis think it's ridiculous, according to Tamara Tattles. But, you know, again, this is what pays the bills. So, as we had spoke about before, there are two sides to what is happening in Atlanta right now. There's the Kenya, there is the there's the Kenya, Candy, and Drew side. Because if you think about it, as Tamara points out, these were the only ladies that were still around from last season full time. And then you have the Marlo, Sanya, and Sheree side, and none of these ladies, okay, are fans at all. Okay. None of them are fans at all of the way Drew is coming off this season. So if you thought that Drew was wilding out last season, Drew is about to do the most this season. Let's talk about that for 1 second. Okay. Yes, I did see this, Annie. Drew is in a Lifetime movie called Line Sisters. Is coming in February. If your personality is that of a Jen Shaw, wherein you are likely to go off at the drop of a hat, scream, cry, get all up in somebody's face, and you've been doing that from the beginning, I'm okay with it. Do I want to see that in every episode? No, because I don't know if a lot of you guys are really let me just put it like this. As someone who was like a communications major, once a journalism and English major, when you're writing, you don't want to add a bunch of exclamation points. You can put a bunch of exclamation points in titles, but in a regular paragraph, you don't need a whole bunch of exclamation points. Being like loud and upfront and in your face and going off and screaming and crying is the equivalent to me of a whole paragraph filled with exclamation points. It ain't necessary. An exclamation point needs to be used only when necessary or to emphasize a point harder than another. You can't emphasize every point harder than another. So to me, you can't operate in that fashion all the time. Having said that, Drew ain't really that type of girl to me. She just not. And I'm interested in kind of trying to figure out who the real Drew Sidora is. Maybe we will get more of her this season, and maybe this is actually who she is in general. But if she's not, we're going to see through it. Just like how we saw through that pastor story, the prophet storyline on the end of last season's Real Housewives of Atlanta. We, the audience, could see that this was some cockamamie BS that was pulled out of the ether for the sake of creating chaos and confusion on the show versus some real drama. And the problem with this is that Drew does not have the history with these ladies to really get us that connected with any of her beef with them. She just doesn't. She doesn't. She is like the new friend in the group. The person that brought her there is gone. The person that she was the most connected to is gone. So now we got to see where she fits. All right. However, I say all that, but I still like Drew. I do. I think that there is hope for her. I prefer her as an actress. And she's definitely doing more than Kim Fields did. So I'm just gonna reserve my judgment until we see exactly what's going on. But I don't need a Prophet storyline, Prophet Part 2 storyline. I just don't need it. Just don't need it. T-Ness says, I want to see who Candy gets into it with inquiring minds. Yes, that's what I want to see. Bruce says, I'm interested in finding out who activated Candy. That's what I'm trying to find out, because when Candy is activated, it is a real moment. It ain't for play. It ain't. It's just not for play. Okay? Now, real quick, we're going to talk about this Janet documentary. Okay? So yesterday, when we did our review of it on it real quick, and just let me know if you happen to catch the Janet documentary in the chatterization down below. Let me know if you happen to catch it. I sat here in my house last night and I watched it. And I'm going to tell you what I rated on the scale of 1 to 10, because I rated part 1 an 8. I'm going to rate part 2 a 9. Okay? I'm going to rate it a 9. And the reason I rated a 9 was because it was a step above the previous night's documentary. Okay? Parts 1 and 2, or part 1 for people that were watching it. I'm going to give it a 9. I don't know that I don't know what it is and why I wanted more, but I wanted some more. But part 2 was definitely better than part 1. Okay? And we did get a lot of information. We did get a lot of information. Some was spoken and some was unspoken. Okay? Yesterday, I also told you that I was looking for some music to go along with this, because I was promised some music from Janet Jackson. And music we did get in the form of Janet's new song, Love I Love. Now, you had to stick around to the very bitter end, okay? The end was kind of triumphant. You had to stick around to the end to actually listen to this song and hear about 10 seconds of it. Now, I talked to you guys yesterday and I said I wanted a whole marketing synergy going on with this, wherein there would either be a single or an album drop that coincided with this. And we do get a single drop, but I feel like they dropped the ball on the single. Okay? Because the single is not available when I look online to download it. So to me, we could have made the most of this situation by allowing people to have access to purchasing the single as they were finishing up watching the documentary. That to me is how you do your marketing. Okay? That's how you do your marketing. I ain't got to how open she was or she wasn't yet, but I'm going to get there. So for me, I feel like there was a missed opportunity here to re-engage, the fans after the fact. After the documentary went off, we could have been able to jam out and rock out to this music. That's how I felt. The other thing that I will say is we got some tea, okay? Now, I don't know if y'all knew this, but I didn't know it, all right? Jermaine cheated on the Janet. He admitted to it. He also admitted that he didn't do enough to try to win her back after she left. What I got from her is that she might have stayed with him through the cheating, but the fact of the matter is he did not give her enough. She wanted more time. Jermaine wanted more work. He wanted to be out in these streets, ripping and running to the club, in the studio, working. So you doing that and you cheated? Nah, player. No. And the funny thing about it is he says that he even says he felt like if he had tried harder to keep her because he's a non-confrontational person, then he would have, they probably would still be together. She did seem genuinely happy when she reminisced about him, which I did like. But how you messed that up? You're with Janet Jackson. She did let us know that he was not addicted to anything. Well, maybe outside of running the streets, but no substances. We learned that Renee had got hooked on some pills, some painkillers. Okay. And then he became controlling, which led to the end of that marriage. Q-Tip made it seem like they was just friends. And that's that. Okay. Super Bowl. We did get some Super Bowl tea. All right. Now, the Super Bowl talk was interesting because I was always wanting to hear her verbatim state out of her mouth in the present moment what happened with that was not supposed to happen. But in my mind, I kept thinking to myself, well, what was supposed to happen? Was it supposed to be that he was supposed to rip off the top and it was supposed to be a red lace right there? Was that the goal? I can't even remember. It was so long ago. She says that she ran off stage crying, okay? Justin asked if he should make a statement, and she is the one who told him, don't do anything. They're coming after me. Let me be the target. She was disinvited to the Grammys, and Jermaine at that point resigned from the Grammy board because he felt like that wasn't okay. Then, I don't know if you guys paid attention, but we get an insert from Janet from January 2022, yesterday, okay, the other day, last week, where it looks like she's on a phone. And I was like, y'all couldn't even turn this to the side, do it horizontally. Film it horizontally, like this. Do it horizontally. Don't do it like this, because when you do it like this, it's going to look like you filmed it for IG stories. Meanwhile, she says that it was all a mistake, this whole Super Bowl situation. Justin and her will always remain very good friends, and she spoke with him the other day. So she wanted to squash all of that. But I feel like we, the people, still looking at him like, you should have still stood up for her in some way, shape, or form, because you went on to be at the Grammys and do all these other things while she was over there suffering, okay? But I kept wondering why in the world y'all couldn't sit her down for another interview in a professional setting. Let her throw on another scarf or two or three or four. How many? Because Janet and these scarves, I wish I had one around me. Janet and these scarves, it'd be 4, 5, 6 scarves wrapped around her neck in these interviews. Is she cold? She was working on Why Did I Get Married To when she got the call about Michael passing. And y'all know what I kept wondering? We see a lot of Rebe, but where is LaToya? Where was LaToya in this documentary? She won't know where to be found. It was really given, Janet don't mess with LaToya like that. That's what it felt like to me. Where she was at? What else? What was she doing? This documentary was definitely filmed a while ago. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like the documentary was filmed a while ago. They took they took a lot of footage from, and I don't mind that. I don't mind going back in the archives and getting footage. But it just didn't feel recent. I don't know. Something about it felt like y'all did this a minute ago and y'all just kind of put some stuff together. I also feel like they didn't make very good use of the people that they were interviewing. You know, it was just kind of like a soundbite here, a soundbite there. And was it me, or did I think that Justin was going to be on this documentary? I thought that he was going to be on this. Maybe I did not know. Okay, yes, we can't forget about Les. I mean, he's the one who orchestrated everything behind the scenes for Janet's downfall. But that's another story for another day. Tweety 17, what happened between her and Tupac? It wasn't really addressed. Outside of the fact that they alluded to there being chemistry between the two of them. We did get a lot about Michael's cases and how they affected her career. Simultaneously, while she was going through the Super Bowl stuff, Michael was still going through a lot of his court battles. And so that also definitely had a toll on her. Such a sad time, really. Around the time of that Demeter Joe album, I think. Yeah, that was what it was. All of a sudden, we jumped to her 2016 pregnancy announcement. Not nary a mention of Wasim. Wake him up. Waka flocka. Not nary a mention of that man at all. I assume that there are probably legal reasons for that. We get to her announcement. She's pregnant by, clearly immaculate conception. And she making her announcement. She had to cancel the rest of that Unbreakable tour, which there were dates that she was missing because I think she was suffering from vertigo. They really didn't discuss that either. But I do recall that tour was plagued by missed dates because she was suffering from vertigo. She canceled the rest of that tour. And then she was 50 when she had the baby. A year later, she back on tour. And what I noticed was Janet looked the happiest when she started talking about her son. So, and at the end, she really said something to the effect that she was just going to focus on being a mother. And it made me wonder because they did mention the Black Diamond album and tour right at the end of the video. And it made me wonder, like, is there going to be any follow-up to that? Like, will that be the last album? Will we ever see it? Will it ever see the light of day? I don't know that she will go back out on tour at this point because of what she said in that moment. It was like, I just want to focus on her son, like on being a mother. And I did think to myself, I was like, oh, she's letting us know that it's a wrap for me. And to be honest with you, I don't blame her. I would like that album that I was promised because I've been holding on to hope and I'm still angry about it, but I could go down that rabbit hole all day. But I would like to release the album, okay? Go on ahead and release the album. Let it go. Let it go, girl. Just give it to us. Give it to us. Just drop the whole thing on us. If that's your last act as an entertainer, go on ahead and drop it down low. Put it up on the iTunes. Let us stream it. And honestly, this woman has given us a lot in her life. So if she want to sit down somewhere while she's in her 50s and enjoy her life, I say let her. I do. I say let her. I still want that album. But I say let her do what she needs to do at this point in time because she has been through a lot. And I just got the sense in watching this documentary that she was tired. And it was a great way to look back over a career from an artist who has always been very serious about her work. And I feel like I love the fact that we have been able to go down memory lane with her in this because it felt more like a walk down memory lane more so than a documentary. And it felt like an intimate walk down memory lane narrated by Janet Jackson herself. And if that's the way she wants to go out, I'm all the way here for it. All the way here for it. But I still want that Black Diamond album. Okay. And that's it, y'all. And for those of you guys, if you have ever been to a Janet Jackson tour in your life, consider yourself lucky and blessed. Because what you will know is if you've ever seen her live, it is hit after hit after hit after hit. And then it's some hits that you don't even remember. I remember going to her concert and I was sitting there like, oh snap, this was from album 1. I didn't even think about this. And I had to go back and download album 1 and re-listen to all of that stuff. So again, count yourself blessed if you ever saw her perform, because it is unlike anything you have ever seen in your life. A Janet Jackson concert is legendary, okay? Legendary. And to be there in person, it just felt like you were just ascending. I mean, every single new song that came out, it was just like, what is this? You know? So again, if you've ever seen her live, count yourself lucky, count yourself blessed to have had that experience, because there's nothing like it in this world. So that is the Janet Jackson documentary. You guys have mentioned possibly reviewing it. I'm so glad I did, because it really made me sit down and watch and analyze. And it's been nice to have these conversations with you guys about this, because it's allowed me to walk back down the memory lane about things that I had forgotten about, maybe didn't even know about, and sort of got me reinvigorated about listening to more of her music again. So with that being said, thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk today. Y'all know that I love y'all. It's time for brunch, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next video.